Thanks for coming. This is a brilliant turnout. I can see the people filtering down. That's absolutely brilliant. This event's been organised by Will Against Fracking. And there's lots of us here.
Hey.
See, a few of us are going to make different announcements. I've got a few things here. There is, believe it or not, a few people who don't really know what fracking is. So I'm just going to do a quick little thing and sort of just explain why we're here. So what's fracking then? Fracking's this new, more extreme form of fossil fuel extraction, and it's targeting rocks such as shale and coal. Getting gas in this new way requires thousands of wells. This industrialises vast areas of our countryside and even can be drilling within residential areas. The evidence of harm caused by fracking is mounting. Thousands of wells have been drilled over the last few years in the US, in Canada and Australia. Communities near rigs are now facing severe irreversible health impacts and the loss of value of their homes and businesses. Now the Wirral's got unique geology. It's very attractive to fracking companies. It has the potential for all three forms of unconventional gas extraction: fracking for shale, coal bed methane extraction and underground coal gasification. Evidence have linked this industry to climate change, pollution of air, water and farmland with radioactive and toxic chemicals, serious health risks, environmental, wildlife and habitat change, lower houses and business values dropping. Fracking's expensive, it's short term and it's dirty. To use it as a bridging source of energy before renewables are fully embraced just takes us in the wrong direction. It would accelerate climate change and it would leave a toxic and radioactive legacy. Rather, we need a focused education and incentives to cut our energy consumption and investment in clean, renewable energy now. So a few points about UCG. UCG being underground coal gasification, which we're facing here. This beautiful area of Hilbre has been licensed for UCG, regardless of it having special protections as a local nature reserve. It's a site of special scientific interest. It's a Ramsar site of world importance for wetland birds and a candidate for the EU Special Area Conservation. UCG is an experimental process with a track record of failure everywhere it's been tried. Attempts over the last 80 years have seen severe water pollution, explosions, underground fires burning uncontrolled, leaking gases from the smouldering coal coming up through the natural cracks in the rock and subsidence. Now recently in Australia they had to shut down the last two attempts, Recently, 2 attempts in Australia had to be shut down due to the pollution to the local farmlands and waters with carcinogenic chemicals, and one plant just exploded after 5 days. And very recently, the Queensland Environmental Department has just announced that Link Energy's UCG plant in Queensland may have caused the worst environmental disaster that Australia has ever seen. Leaking gases have been seen to be polluting the subsoil up to 2 metres beneath the surface. So the Environment Department has put in place this caution zone of 320 kilometres squared around the plant, and in that zone residents and farmers are told they can't dig lower than 2 metres. So this beautiful area here that we're standing in today has been licensed for just that, for UCG. And the company is Clough Natural Resources, hold the licence Point of Air and covering this area here, and another company called 5 Quarter Energy has got a licence covering Liverpool Bay. We have 2 licences for UCG here, and these are part of the 27 UCG licences around the coast of the UK. Now there was even a UCG site licensed for inland in Warwickshire, but due to the strong campaign by the local residents, Clough withdrew his interest. And this is what we've seen again and again, where the local community stand together and show a strong resistance. The industry just can't proceed. Investors will pull out. Their shares fall. And fracking companies have been seen to just pack up and leave. and they definitely shy away from areas where there's resistance. So IGAS are currently, right now, exploring across the UK, but local to us, Cheshire. They've been moving forward with fracking plans across Cheshire, and they've got many sites they're exploring. The one in Ellesmere Port has already been drilled to sample and is now licensed for production, and seismic surveys are going on as we speak in Chester, right now, today, and around the surrounding areas of Chester. And that is a preparation for drilling, for coal bed methane, for show. So we've got to get clued up, we've got to get organised, and we've got to show that if they come here, we've got to fight. And as we stand here today, we're linked with a really big event in Scotland, happening right now on the Forth Bridge. There's thousands of people who have travelled across the UK, and they're going to attempt a human train, holding hands, across the bridge, over the river, where there's 5 UCG licences, some of which are actually held by the same companies as here, by Clough and by 5 Quarter. A few days ago, some of you might have heard that Scotland granted a moratorium on UCG. So now they have got a bit more time to push for an all-night ban, all-out ban. Fortunately, our request for a moratorium was turned down earlier this year. We'll keep trying. So today, we're all here as a community, and we're going to stand to protect our homes, our health, our children, our wildlife, our environment, because another way is possible, you know. Focused education around power use, incentives to use less, renewable energy schemes at a local level, and big investment in clean energy is what we need now. We're united today locally, but we're also united nationally. We've got Wales here, and we're united with Scotland, and further, we're united globally with all the people in the world resisting fracking. So protect what you value, make your voice heard, and together we can get a clean future, rather than the bleak existence that fracking would promise. So today, let's unite and say, frack free everywhere. Yay! We've got a few more announcements, and then at 1 o'clock, let's all gather and have a big photograph that we can share. Yeah?
So now you get me. I want to say a massive thank you for coming today. It's great to see so many people. Much like many of you, I went to a meeting a year ago and heard about fracking, and I was so appalled. My first instinct was, how can I get involved? What can I do? And it's been a bit of a mad year really, where I've learned more and I've made new friends, and I've been involved in this fight against this hideous industry. So if you want to know more about how to get involved, we want to welcome you to come along to our meetings. We meet every first Wednesday of the month. I'm hopeless at this bit. At Vanilla Bar in Hoylake, and we've got some leaflets on the table that you can take, and I'll tell you more about that. We meet at 7:30. It's an informal meeting, everyone's welcome. A chance to find out more, but also how you can get involved. And there are loads of ways that you can get involved. You can get involved right to your MP, you can get involved signing petitions, you can get involved in direct demonstration, and if you want to know more about that, please do come and speak to us as we walk over to the island. But again, a massive thank you for coming. Yeah, it's great to see so many people.
Okay, so I get to bore everyone now with the health and safety issues of walking to the island. Okay, so welcome everyone, thank you for turning up today. We are going to walk to the island, and if everyone can follow the recommended route, which is to Little Eye first, which is the first island, and then across the sand over to Middle Eye, over the top of Middle Eye, over the rocks, and then onto Hilbre. We will gather at some point towards the back of Hilbre Island. If you can keep out of the gully, which is the water nearest to us now, the tide is flooding out, it's very, very fast, so keep out of the water if you can. The rocks in between the islands are very, very slippy, and people do fall there quite often, so try to keep off the rocks at all points. The only time you will need to walk across the rocks is in between Middle Eye and Hilbre. If anyone needs any kind of first aid at all, hopefully not, or come and see me. I've got a silly hat on, so you can come and find me easily. There are toilets on the island, but if you use the toilets, can you leave them as they were found, please leave them clean. If you've got any litter or any things that you're taking out with you to the island, can you make sure that you return them back with you also. And just a few things about the wildlife. The creatures are all, and the plants are all protected on the island, so please don't take any with you. Try to avoid disturbing any birds. Keep to the paths and the rocks and avoid any plants and eroding soil. And take your litter home, like we said. If anyone needs, if it is an emergency at any point, please just call 999 and seek me or anyone. I'll just ask for some help, but I'll be around if you need it. And that's it, guys. So everyone, we just gather for a photo, and then we'll all walk over to the islands together. Thanks.
If anyone's got any banners, any placards, let's make them shown, and we'll get a photograph and send it to our friends in Scotland.
So that's it, we're here with 107 News in West Kirby, where an anti-fracking process is underway this Sunday lunchtime. The date is the 11th of October in 2015. Apparently the island of Hilbre looks set to be exploited for fracking, possibly, or areas near to it. You might... So the idea is simply to walk from West Kirby across to Hilbre, which is something you would normally do. Another group photo, so we'll stand over here now. Have a look what some of the signs say. Let the hill breathe, don't frack it, kill it, don't fracking kill it. Loads of puns with frack off and fracking and so on. You see it right now, frack free everywhere, we're all against fracking. We've got representatives from the Upton anti-fracking camp on the outskirts of Chester, which I've visited lots of times. In fact, yeah, it might be an idea to go and have a look from the front, which is really difficult now, sorry. It might be a little bit difficult. We're in it to win it. Frack free D. Because there's things going on in Ellesmere Port.
1, 2, 3. That's great, guys. Thank you so much. If anyone does Twitter, there's a hashtag for today, which is hashtag HOOF, hands off on the floor. If you do social media,
Okay. There you go, so that's it. A huge, relatively big group of people. How many is that? 50 or 100? Could even be up to 100, you never know, I'm not sure. At least 50 are going to walk across to that over there. The only island Wirral has off its coast. It's actually inhabited by a very small amount of people who presumably cross the mainland to the mainland when they can. You get stuck out there, you can be stuck for about 12 hours. Yeah. Alright, yeah.
No, you have to put that down.
Ah, right.
You have to put that down.
Ah, the selfie stick. Forgot about that. Because it could have.
With that banner.
Yeah.
Oh, look at those two.
Yeah.
Do their selfie on a stick.
Yeah.
On a stick.
I've got one. I forgot it. Right, so we'll join with a bit more coverage as the walk goes over to Hilbre.